My Uncle Irving was somehow connected, the oldest child in that family, David's oldest child. He was somehow connected to Borscht Belt comedians. I don't know if he was their agent or he got them hotel rooms, but somehow he knew all of them. Like, you know, Joey Adams was always up in my grandmother's house, and Cindy Adams, we know I remember them being around. I remember this really interesting time. We were also taught, each one of those 3 children had to have a little routine or act. So David played the piano. My brother dressed up in the uniform that my uncle gave him, which I vaguely remember as an army military uniform. And I had to do a tap dance with a little Navy hat. I had a little tap dance to a military thing. And they would always say, okay, Minna, take your stage. And then I would do my little act. And then the family would take your bow. And they taught you how to bow and take a bow. So that was translated, the vaudeville thing was translated down into the grandchildren. And that was always the thing at that house. When you went to that apartment, you met all these people. And then we sat around a table one day, I remember this, and my uncle, and I don't know if it was one day or always, they would go around the table and tell jokes. You had to have a quick joke with a quick one-liner. So if Joey Adams was there, he would lead off. It was Maury Amsterdam. If it was this one, it was that one. Billy Sands, blah, 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 Joey Bishop. And you go around the table and they'd start telling jokes. And the joke would like increase, and the speed would get faster and faster. And then they would ask me, I was 5 years old, you know, I always had like the same joke because I couldn't make anything. But I remember that tradition and the influence it had on me to be funny in public. You know, you get attention by being funny, right? So to be funny, to be quick on your feet, always have a little performance to distract people, that kind of thing. Of course, I was very proud of being the child of these people because my father was more ashamed of it or more remote about it. He had more emotional problems, and I won't go into that, but it was difficult to be his child. But my aunt and uncle, the one who remained living, my Uncle Irving and my Aunt Roy, they were very proud of who they were, you know. And so there was a lot of positive quality about being the child of the Baratz. And that my grandfather had been very famous, and you know, they knew Paul Muni, they knew Molly Pike, and I mean, every time they were in American things, you know, we'd be up with my aunt and uncle, and they'd say, "Did you see what Muni was doing?" Everyone was called by the last name, by the way. No one had a first name. If you see in the biographies, it's all B. B said, you know, and B, it was all initials, and so I remember that, but it made me. I'm a college professor. I teach in the State University of New York at Old Westbury, where I've been for 41 years, and I trained to be an academic, to be a professor. And I know that part of my comfort in front of a classroom is coming from that tradition. That it's never difficult for me to get up in front, even if I'm nervous, even if I have to go up in front of my colleagues, it's not hard to cover it over and to do a song and dance because that's who I am. Half of who I am is the Jewish theater. Even though it doesn't live with me directly and I don't follow it, and when it comes up, it's always part of the seed of who I am. Like David lives in me, you know. My Uncle Marty lives in me because it's part of how we grew up. And being funny and being goofy and being connected to making faces when you talk Maury Amsterdam. Not Maury Amsterdam, Buddy Hackett. You know, he was like in front of me when I was 6, eating gefilte fish in my grandmother's kitchen, you know, doing this. It becomes part of who you are. You're around it, you're surrounded by it, you breathe it in, and you remember it. So I think the influence on me is that I feel like when I'm teaching, even though the content is very specific and precise because it's, you know, science, there's still that element of entertainment when I deliver it.